What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Arnold Telegaarda.
And I'm Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser, and we're on episode 50, man. And I told you, Arnold, anytime I bring a guest on Pro and Bro Wrestling, it's very near and dear to me. Now, our next guest, I haven't met personally, but I stumbled upon one of his IG lives, and this I don't want to say kid, but literally, I feel like this kid had me cracking up on his IG live, and I just fell in love with his personality and his tenacity. Navarro is in the house on Pro and Bro Wrestling. Don't die with the story, and you tell it, bro. Thank you for joining us.
Oh man, thanks for having me, dude. This is great. I feel like I feel like a star right now. You know, Tasha was on here, so now I feel like a star.
Man, Casey, you're waking all of us up right now, man. It's currently like 6 p.m. I'm like getting all, mellowed out, and your energy's like, it's like a pre-workout, bro.
Wake up, brother. You're feeling blessed right now. You gotta wake up. That's where I'm at. It's past my bedtime, but it's okay.
Wait, what time is it over there for you?
It's 9.
9. Okay. Gotcha. Well, man, usually I ask our guests if, to start it off, if they've been a fan of wrestling ever since they were a kid. But, bro, I was looking at your Instagram, and it's nuts, man. I feel like your Instagram, it's like a visual timeline of your life. Because your first picture that you posted in 2013, you were a teenager. You were a fan. You were sitting on this end. You know what I'm saying? Like taking pictures of a signed poster of Zack Ryder, and as I'm scrolling up, you see this transformation of you getting into the business. And if you reach all the way to the top, you're a pro wrestler, bro.
Crazy.
That's nuts. And it's all in your Instagram. I've never seen that before, man. That's crazy. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Hey, man, it was rough, man. I mean, growing up in a small town in Metuchen in New Jersey, wrestling was very frowned upon. Nobody liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Dude, I had no friends growing up at all. Nobody wanted to be my friend. All the girls didn't like me because I was the guy that loved wrestling. I loved watching the men in tights. Is what went And people just didn't believe in me, man. I wanted to be that guy that wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be that next Rey Mysterio, the next John Cena. That's what I aspired to be. And my father was in the military my entire life. But when he left, the one thing that made me feel like he was home was wrestling. And him achieving his dream of going to the Army, becoming a Ranger, doing all these crazy things in the Army, showed me like, well, man, my dad's not a very big guy, and neither am I, but I think that I can achieve my dream too. And I went out and I just kept dreaming. And I kept telling people that didn't believe in me. I didn't get into fights. I didn't get in people's faces saying, oh, what are you going to do? I used to be like, watch me. Just watch. And I graduated high school, and I remember I did not want to walk. I did not want to do the walk. That was just not my thing, because that's how much I hate Metuchen. But I remember I told my family, all right, I'll do the walk. And when I did my walk, I looked at everybody, and I was just like, take one good last look. It was the last thing I said to everybody in my school. And when I graduated, I was already wrestling at the time. And then once I graduated, I had more time to really grind, hit the gym, and do all that. And I was able to when I was traveling, I was meeting all these big names that were willing to help me in my career. And even when I started in my career, I thought it was going to die out very quick. I trained for 4 months, and I was kicked out of wrestling school.
Wait, so you were already wrestling before you graduated? So what, you started wrestling when you were 15?
Yeah, so I think it was right in the middle of my sophomore year.
How's that possible? They let you in?
So I used to go to this one company, Pro Wrestling Syndicate. I believe it's now WrestlePro. And it was in Rahway, New Jersey, right by my house. And I used to go to the shows all the time. And they had an open house for the school. And I was like, man, the school's right there. I don't have to go to, super far, So I remember me and my friends, we were doing backyard wrestling at the time, very frowned upon.
So I heard.
So, but we did it, and me and my friend, we saw they were doing an open house, and we showed up, and I just remember really deeply falling in love with it even more.
Sure.
And what everybody was doing, the training, all of that, and I was like, man, I really hope they let us train, because at the time you had to be 18. It was on the website, you had to be 18 years old to train. I just remember after it was done, the trainer asked if anybody had questions, and I went up to him. I was like, listen, I'm only 15, but this is what I want. This is my whole life, and I have a lot to prove, and a lot of people doubted me. and this is all I want. I just want a chance.
Yeah.
And all he said was, if my parents will sign a waiver. And then May 5th, I started, and I made my debut in a Rumble on May 23rd.
Wow.
First match was about a few weeks after that. Like my first single match, a few weeks after that.
Wait. So KC, so who originally trained you? Pat Buck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he kicked you out?
Yes, sir.
Wait, why?
Are you still?
Huh?
Why did you get kicked out?
So, I mean, I was only 15. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. And, I guess to him, I was very unhumble. And I remember everything was going fine. It was very strange. Like, everything was going fine. And I did a show, I believe it was in Avenel, New Jersey on September 26th, if I'm remembering that right, in 2015. And it was for a company, SWF. And Moff was on the show. All these guys were on the show. And I did my triple threat match. I won. My family was there, so my family was super hyped. But it was my first win ever. So I don't know if that rubbed him the wrong way. And then later on that night, Dan Moff, he didn't want to do a singles match. So he, made it a 6-man tag and, put me over in it. And then the next thing you know, I walked in the training that Monday, handed in my check for my extra 3 months of training, and he took it, brought me outside, and he just told me that I was untrainable. I wasn't humble. If I kept being like this, that I wasn't going to make it anywhere. And I was just damn, the hell? I remember, I left, but, I had no car. I had no way to get home. And we're always not a very, real good area. And so, I was just sitting outside, crying because I didn't know what else to do. Because I couldn't even finish the training that day. It was I had to go home.
Sure.
So I had to change in front of everybody. It was, kind of embarrassing, And I just... my one friend that trained there happened to pick me up, Gino Gotts. He happened to pick me up and bring me back home. And I called my mom, I'm crying. And my mom, being a mom, showed up to the school, and I didn't ask her.
Yes.
I guess you know the story.
Mama bear, huh?
Yeah, my mom just went off on Pat and everyone. It was, and then everybody tried to say that I sent my mom, but that was never true. I never wanted my mom to do that because I knew what heat was, and I didn't want to have heat because I was already at the point where I was I've only been wrestling for 4 months. Where am I going to go after this?
Yeah.
To go. So, I was upset. I was I don't know what to do. And I just remember Dan Moff just calling me going, you better not quit. You better not stop. You have a lot of talent. I know you're only 15, but
yes,
you have something. And
That's
I don't want you just quit because he kicked you out. So,
KC, I don't mean to cut you off, but Pat Buck was one of the names that was released recently with WWE. And remember, Arnold, you went through all the names of the releases, and you said Pat Buck, and I looked at you. I said no comment.
You actually said next.
Yeah, I said next. I said next because he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't want to get into it, but sure. I didn't know the story of Pat Buck kicking you out, KC. But for Dan Moff to tell you don't quit and stuff like that, he's an OG, and sure. where he's at in ROH, he deserves all his success. He should have, his success should have been a long time ago, but rather late than ever, So Dan Moff knows what's up, but for Pat Buck to do that to you, man, I'm not a big fan of that. And I know talent when I know talent when I see it, and you've got tremendous talent, man. So I'm sorry to hear that, that happened.
Oh, man. I mean, you know what? I just used it as fire, man. And with Moff telling me not to quit, and the owner of that company that Moff put me over at, he saw something in me, and his name is Rob Fury, and I know he's not very loved in wrestling, but he told me, he was I think you have a lot of talent. I know you only have a little bit of training, but I'm willing to keep booking you if you want to do it. And I was of course. But it helped me learn, shoot on the road, really get to know the grind, get to meet different people. Not because I feel and I'm not crapping on anybody, but I feel a lot of schools, people kind of become cliques, and you're only stuck with that clique. And I was, I feel me getting kicked out was kind of a blessing in disguise because I was able to get along with everybody. Yeah. And the one thing I always felt I was able to say too was that a lot of people would be oh, I'm a Pat Buck guy. I'm a Damian Adams guy, Team Adams. I'm a Monster Factory guy, CCW guy. I feel I'm one of the only guys to be well, I'm a KC Navarro.
There you go.
I just got a little bit of everything from everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I was able to get to CZW from SWF, and I was able to, like, be seen by different people, and I started getting booked more places, and just took off from there, man.
That's awesome, man. I have to ask, you know, I know a lot of wrestlers who are lifelong wrestling fans, you know, ever since they were kids. And as soon as they get into the business, it kind of tarnishes their image of wrestling. They no longer become a fan, and now it's become more work or more of an obligation. For you being so young, I mean, you were a fan and you got right into it. Once you started training and learning the ins and outs of the industry, did it somehow kill like the boyhood charm to wrestling that you had, or were you still did you still have that in you?
No, I feel like I always had it in me. Always had it in me. I never lost the love I had for it. Like it just grew, I think.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, great.
I fell in love with the backstage part of it. Like it was like the stuff I didn't know as a kid. Like, you know, 5 years old, I'm like, wrestling's real. Like it's real.
Same.
And then, you know, like when you get to really learn about it, I mean, to me, wrestling's real. I mean, I've had multiple injuries. If you get injured in something, it's real. I mean, it's choreographed. You know, it's no secret. People know that. But that's another thing I love about it. Like, I love the storytelling of it. Like, I never knew that as a kid. I just saw freaking John Cena pick a guy up and throw him. Like, that's all I knew, and I loved it. But, like, get to understand why he was getting to that point and, like, all that.
Psychology.
Man, like, I love that. Like, that was the coolest part for me. And I know I'm looked at as, like, a flippy guy who does all these, like, tricks and flips. But, like, now, like, after I hurt my knee last year, it got to the point where I was like, you know, maybe I should start, like, telling stories rather than and make the tricks and flips start to mean something.
Yeah,
and
make it special.
So yeah, I always loved it, and my love for it never went away when I came in.
Hey KC, don't knock the backyard wrestling, brother, because I did it myself. 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. I was carrying around 12th grade, the roller bag and all that stuff. I had the fanny pack. I took it seriously, you know, and I don't know if you remember me telling you, or I don't know if I mentioned it on your IG Live. I'm from Union Township, New Jersey, not far from Edison. Where you're from is where Robert Stone is from. You know what I mean? So we're all from the same area. So if we would have been, if we would have grew up together, we would have been backyard wrestling. I would have been your big brother. I would have had your back. So
appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, man. I used to love the primetime players too. When I was me and my brothers all be like,
it does.
So when I told my friends I was doing this, my one friend was like, Darren Young, the primetime players. Like my friends, like that's the one thing too, like that I love, that like I'm able to like see how happy my friends are that I like did the backyard wrestling stuff with. Like when I told him like I was gonna be on here with you, my one friend like freaked out because he loved you and Titus so much. So like when I told him like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on Darren Young tonight, he's like, you're just like chill about that. You're like, dude, like are you crazy? And another thing I love that I was able to do, like I'm able to do now, like I know a lot of people look at Enzo Amore not in like a very good way, but he's been like, I've been training around with him recently during this quarantine.
I saw.
And my one friend loves him. I mean, got a picture next to his bed, loves Enzo. And my friend knew I was training with him, and my friend's birthday is actually today. And I knew I was gonna be able to see him today. And I remember that Enzo wanted me to come work out, and I actually surprised my friend and like brought him and got him to meet him. And like it felt so good to be able to like do that, you know, because I know that it's not every day you get to bring your friend to meet like his hero. And like he like died, like kid almost. So Enzo walking up to the gym, and he was like, oh my god, I almost got into an accident because I didn't know what the hell he was screaming about. And he's like, there's Enzo, oh my god, what are you here for? It's cool, man. I'm blessed. For sure.
And
it's not even, it's the truth.
It's crazy too because I haven't seen Enzo in a while, and I saw him on your Instagram account, and dude, he got jacked, man.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Crazy.
Yes, sir.
You know, so you went to all these wrestling events as a kid, you know, as all normal fans do. You go to Access. I see pictures of you as a kid wearing the shield, you know, taking pictures with Roman and Randy Orton at SummerSlam. And I saw in your captions that they gave you some advice, because I'm sure at that point you already wanted to pursue this dream. What were some of the advice that those guys gave you?
Randy, when I met him, he was just telling me to not quit and don't worry about my size. That's what he like legit said. Look at Rey Mysterio, kid. If Rey can do it, you can do it, man. Just don't quit. Like that was his one piece of advice. And Roman sat me down for a minute.
Wow.
But the reason why was I met him a year before that SummerSlam one, and it was right before I started training. And when I met Roman, my dad, he just left the army, and with like a little bit amount of money he had, he bought that ticket for me to meet him. And when I met Roman like told me right there, like, oh, you know, go after your dream, kid, like you can do it. And like that's when I started training. And then I thought about like just from that moment of meeting Roman and everything I did in that year, like I won my first title, I got kicked out, I overcame getting kicked out, and I did all these things. I started traveling a lot. So when I went up to Roman at SummerSlam, I broke down. And like, I'm not ashamed of it. I straight broke down in front of him. I was like, I remember like I had like all these things to say. Like I was like, oh, what's up, man? And then I don't know, like it just hit me when I was sitting there to be next. And like I just told him, I was like, man, like I just went through so much. And like once I explained that to him, I guess like he felt that. And he stopped the whole access thing. And like he had them get me a chair. He sat me down and like he just talked to me like, dude, like don't let people get in your head, man. He goes, you see me going out there, bro? People don't want to see me over, man. And they boo me. They boo me. But I work hard, and that's why I'm there. If you keep working hard, man, you're gonna get what you want. You're gonna achieve your dream. I promise. He goes, just please promise me you're not gonna quit.
Wow.
You're already getting there, bro. You're only 16 years old, man. You're getting there, bro. By the time you're 25, you're still super young. By the time you're 25, you're gonna be something. I've never seen you wrestle, but I can see the passion in your eyes right now. And like everything you said, I feel it, dude. And like after that, man, like I took those words, bro, and I just brought it with me, man. And I've been working hard, man.
I feel it too. Don't leave me out either, brother.
Oh, I know.
You bless me, and I'm blessing you on Pro and Bro Wrestling.
Yes, sir.
So going to all those events as a kid, which one was your favorite pay-per-view that you went to?
Okay. This is a good one. I would probably say my favorite was Survivor Series on November 20th, 2011 in Madison Square Garden. It was John Cena tagging up with The Rock.
Oh, R-Truth and The Miz? Yeah.
That hands down my favorite. But it was for multiple reasons. Like, I loved Zack Ryder at that time. Like, I thought I was Zack Ryder at that time. And, like, Zack Ryder was on the pay-per-view. And I remember I was upset. And, like, we were wrestling. And then out of nowhere, Ryder's music hit. And I was like, holy shit! And then it was my first time ever seeing The Rock. And The Rock was one wrestler that I always aspired to be. Because my dad loved The Rock. And he still does. But, like, I always, like, had this connection with The Rock. So my dad kind of looked like The Rock. So, like, I always felt like I was watching my dad on TV low-key. I love The Rock and everything he did and everything he stood for. Like, yeah. I'm surprised I am not sponsored by Project Rock with the amount of stuff I have. I got the whole thing, man. I got the whole thing. And, like, it was my first time seeing The Rock in person. I never thought I would have that opportunity.
Like, you know, it's funny. I hear a lot of wrestlers that meet The Rock for the first time in person. And even, like straight dudes, you know? Like, they just see The Rock and, like, you know what, man? Like, the smile, the face, like, I get it. Like, I get it. I know why you're successful, along with the hard work and everything. He just has that, like, charisma, that aura to him, you know? That's really cool, man. So you mentioned Zack Ryder as one of your favorites. He's actually one of mine, too. I'm subscribed to, like, his Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I collect wrestling figures and all that. Did you have any other favorites growing up? But as you become a wrestler, you start, like, kind of studying their work in the ring?
I was always a big Rey Mysterio fan.
Nice.
I mean, I'm not a very big guy. I'm only like maybe 5'6", 5'7", and he's only 5'2". So I was like, I mean, seeing him against the Big Show. Anyway, so I was like, Rey Mysterio was a big guy that I used to watch. Matt Sydal when he was
Evan Bourne, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved his stuff. And then growing up, like watching more indie stuff, because for a long time I never knew what the indies was. No idea. WWE until my one friend was like, "Hey, you want to go to this wrestling show with me?" And I was like, "Oh, it's WWE." He goes, "No, but you got to come with me." And then we just planned. It's weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I started like really paying attention to indie stuff, so I loved Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
That dude like used to blow my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love Ricochet, Will Ospreay, and another big one is Leo Rush.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite, and I had the
I know
first
why you're laughing, Fred.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, Fred?
No, I had no issues with Leo Rush. I supported him. One time I ran into him in the airport like 5 a.m. I was still with WWE, and he was going through some problems at home and stuff like that. And I told him to keep his head up and to play his cards right. And ultimately, he made it to WWE. But I'm just cracking up because of him and his a little confrontation with Mark Henry.
Oh. Yeah. I know about that. Yep. No comment.
No comment. Yeah. So it's better to stay out of it, you know. So now you're in the business. You're constantly getting booked. Out of all the companies that you worked for, which one did you really enjoy working?
Wrestling Has a Tomorrow in Rhode Island, in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, why is that?
It's ran by a professional wrestler named JT Dunn. Him and another guy. It was, I believe, in my opinion, I mean, other companies may talk about it, whatever. Yeah. I believe it was the first place to really give me a shot and like really give me a chance. And I feel like that's when people started taking me serious when I went there.
Wow.
I was the only guy to start from the pre-show and a whole year later end up in the main event.
Wow.
And it was like actual hard work. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to run a storyline with this kid. Like, it was like I put my all every time I was in that. Like,
and were you wrestling as babyface or were you heel?
I was babyface the whole time. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was babyface and I was taking on like just local guys. I was just doing really good. And then once I started catching some steam, I remember Sami Callihan was at a show.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, oh, like this kid's got something. Like, I want to see what he does like against a name. So they gave me Ethan Page because JT Dunn was like a heel and like Ethan Page was his guy, and they were saying they were the face of tomorrow, but that was like my thing. And I was like, no, I'm the face of tomorrow, face of tomorrow. And then I wound up wrestling Ethan Page, and the way I sold and the story that we told like got like super over. And then the next thing you know, Sami Callihan's like, nah, I gotta wrestle this kid. I wrestled Sammy, and after that, he destroyed me. But after that, like, it showed a lot of people that, like, I can keep up. Like, it's not like I'm just, like, another guy. Like, I can keep up with these dudes. And then I started getting guys like AR Fox. And then next thing you know, for the first time in my, at the time, 4-year career, I got to go one-on-one with Dan Moff in the main event.
Wow.
For the title.
That's amazing.
And it was, like, crazy because it was, like, everything I went through, and then I had to go work so hard. And who would have thought that I would have wrestled my mentor at the very end? Like, it was crazy. And like, I just remember the story we told in that match, and it was if you guys ever get to check out that match is phenomenal. It was actually one of my favorite matches I've ever had in my entire career. And
that's like full circle, man.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I feel like everything I do winds up just coming like right around, like full circle. It's insane.
Yeah.
KC, you talk about selling CZW. What match was it that I spoke to you about on your IG live?
Jordan Oliver.
What was his name?
Jordan Oliver.
Jordan Oliver Arnold. I wanted to see a match of KC, and I watched him CCW, and he got busted open hard way. You know what I mean? I thought it was part of. I thought maybe he bladed or something like that, but he got hard weighed, and it's not like he went, you know, from bleeding to running spots. You know, KC sold and sold and sold. It was probably a legit sell. It looked good to me, but he sold, and that's so important, you know, in wrestling, you know, and that's something that WWE will definitely notice when you have tryouts and stuff like that. He sold and sold, and I believed he was down and out, and that's so important. You talk about selling. That's why people gravitate towards you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when I first started, that was like a huge thing. Like, instead of anybody teaching me moves, they wanted me to learn how to sell, because obviously they knew I was a small guy. I was pretty athletic, so they knew I was gonna be able to do the flips, but they knew that I was gonna be a baby face. I'm very young. I have a baby face, so it's like, and I'm very small. It's not going to be very believable, especially in the beginning of my career. That wasn't going to be a heel at all. So, you know, I remember just like in training in my first 4 months, guys like Mark Carino, Justin Carino, they used to like just beat me down and like make me learn how to sell. And at first, once I started getting the pain down, they started teaching me how to use it for camera, like keeping my head up and stuff like that.
It's funny. I was listening to Bruce Pritchard's podcast. He was talking about back in the day when he would have guys send in tapes to get hired for the WWE. And whenever these guys would send him tapes, it's just them going over, doing all these like flips and everything. And Bruce is like, listen, like, I don't want to see that. I don't care how many flips you can do. I don't care about you getting over. I want to see your selling, and I want to see your comeback. Those are the top 2 things that I'm looking for when I'm like hiring someone. And I think that's like a really cool perspective that you just don't think about, especially when you're a kid, a fan, it's really, really cool. But I also saw that I think early in your career, if I'm not mistaken, did you have Cody Rhodes stay in and watch your match and have him critique you afterwards?
Yeah, and I was so nervous because I didn't think he really would, but I just had this feeling that it was going to be my only time in a locker room with him, and it was.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was my first time sharing a locker room, and I was nervous because he was like the guy hot off WWE. Like, it was
right.
Like, this guy's not going to watch me because I'm in a Rumble. So I'm not going to want to sit here and just watch me take a couple shots and get thrown out of the ring. He's not going to care. And I remember I was pacing back and forth. It was like an actual Royal Rumble, so like I had a number and everything. And I just remember I was like, do I go and ask him? And I just remember just running up to him, just going, hey, I'm about to go out. Do you think you could please go upstairs and watch my match?
Wow.
Sure. Why didn't you just ask me before? I wouldn't have had a problem. And I didn't think he was really going to. I thought he was just telling me that. And I remember entering the Rumble, like doing like a thing. And I remember selling in the corner, and I looked over and I see him just like this. I'm like, oh no. I was
was he in the show as well, or was he
in the show? Yeah.
Okay.
He was
Sorry.
So I was like, oh my God, dude, this guy's watching me. Like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I just remember doing everything I had to do. And then once I came to the back, I went downstairs, and he like came right up to me because I think I got like slammed on my head. He got like nervous. So like I came back, he was like, hey man, are you okay? And he was like, let me tell you something, man. I know that was just a Rumble, and I didn't get to see like you in a full match, but you have something. And if I was you, I'd just keep going, because just in that little Rumble, you were the guy that stood out to me out of everybody. And not just because you told me to watch the match, but it was because of everything you did, like your style, your charisma when you were in the ring, like the way you acted when you were beating guys up. Like, you have something, man. Like, just keep it up. And I was like, oh, well, thanks. And then like he gave me like little things to fix, and that was pretty much it. And then I just asked him to take a picture because I was like, oh, I'm probably never gonna see him again. So and that was it.
You know what I think all wrestlers have in common is that I feel like all wrestlers are really great at imitating each other. That was a great Cody Rhodes impression. And Fred does the best Kurt Angle, the best Ron Simmons. Like, Fred, like every wrestler you imitate, it's always spot on. And like I had to say it because like that was a pretty good Cody, man.
Thank you. That was a long time ago too.
Now, like, obviously you're in the business. Are you also kind of keeping an eye out for what's going on out there? Are you still a fan of WWE or AEW Impact right now?
Yeah, I've been watching here and there. I know wrestling's very different with the whole COVID thing and the fans not in the building, which is very weird because I feel like we make everything, But yeah, I've been paying attention a lot. I've been watching Impact. My girl Tasha, she's on Impact Wrestling now. That's TV. So I've been watching her. And then I got a couple friends in AEW like Sunny Kiss, Joey Janela. So I've been watching over there. And then of course I always watch WWE because I'm always gonna love WWE. Sure. WWE is what made me want to do what I want to do. So I have to watch WWE. So yeah, I'm always keeping an eye on everything.
That's awesome, man. Go ahead,
Casey, it's weird because it's like every time, like, I had Tasha on Pro Wrestling, then she got signed to Impact. I had Deonna Purrazzo recently, then she got signed to Impact. I had Big Swole, she got signed to AEW, I believe. It's just like really weird. Like every time I have certain guests that I really enjoy, they somehow, venture off, onto something big. So, hopefully something comes out of it for you. But, you still have so much time. You got so much in the tank, man. Have you done any tryouts with WWE? Yes, no?
I never thought I was ready. I never thought I was ready.
Okay, yeah.
I always wanted to do it when I 100% knew that I had some idea of TV. I wanted to get a little experience with TV stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that I just was mentally ready, because I know that it's very hard. I've been told by different people, different stories that done tryouts, and like I just felt like if I'm gonna walk in there, I want to be determined that I know I'm gonna walk in there and walk out with a contract. Like I want to.
Yeah, I love it.
So I've never had, I mean, the closest thing I think I did that would be, I guess, considered WWE now was I did an Evolve tryout with Robbie Brookside, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, which all of those guys gave me fantastic feedback. Every single one. Like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano loved the Blessed character. They thought it was awesome. And Robbie oh my God, my friend, see my friend's he probably wants to talk to Fred. But yeah, Robbie Brookside, he actually pulled me and the guy that I was working with to the side and said that he believes that me and him are going to be signed within 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah. So
now, this is a non-wrestling related question, but I saw, and Fred mentioned this too earlier, but I saw on your Instagram that you have a series, right? A weekly series.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's right behind you this whole time, man. So how did that start, and why did you want to do that?
So I always loved doing Instagram lives. They were fun. I always like connecting with fans, because the one thing my mom always told me, like when I would go meet guys like Roman Reigns, Zack Ryder, and stuff, she used to always tell me like, one day you're going to be on the other side. And these kids are going to want to talk to you. So like Instagram Live was, a way to connect with people all over the world. So I used to do it all the time. But when we got into this whole, pandemic, there was no wrestling. There was nowhere for me to go. And even when I had the opportunities to wrestle at the time, I wouldn't go to protect my family. So I thought of, well, maybe if I do a couple Instagram lives here and there, it'd be cool. So I remember I did like a couple, and a lot of people were like, just join it, like 20, 30. And I never had, to me, that's a lot, because I never had that many people.
Sure.
So like, I see like the kids are really enjoying it and stuff like that. And like, I was meeting like kids from like all over the world that I didn't even know were fans of me. Like apparently I have loads in Scotland. Never been there. Got a huge fan base in Scotland. I don't know. I remember I did one live and like every other person was from Scotland. It was like, but yeah, and then I noticed that like every time I was about to bring someone in, I'd be like, oh, let's see who's next to be blessed. And like I used to always say that. I remember talking to Tasha, because Tasha like loved watching them, and she was like, man, like that's a cool name. Like you should make that like you should call your Instagram lives that. And I was like, you know what? Just because you said that, you're going to help me run them. So now she's the co-host. So
that's awesome, man.
So like, and then I decided I didn't want to do it every day, because I didn't want to tire people out. So I was like, I'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays, and maybe every Thursday I could bring like a wrestling personality and one of my friends from the business and bring them in, because I feel like a lot of fans like hearing stories like that. So that's what I started doing every Tuesday and Thursday. Like I either had a guest every Thursday, or maybe I'll just do 2 lives where I just bring fans in and stuff like that. And it just became a hit with the fans. And like, I just started investing in it. I got a nice ring light. I got a poster made. It's like a really.
No, that's legit. That's legit, man.
This thing was like $90.
Yeah.
So I just invested in it, and it became fun to me, and Tasha loves it. And now it's a part of my life now. I just can't stop doing it. It's almost like YouTube. Like I have to like post a YouTube video, but this is a lot easier.
I hear you, man.
Arnold, the one thing I love about KC is that he can be witty with his talking, but he doesn't curse, which is art. You know what I mean? Cutting a promo, you got to be careful with the cursing and all that stuff, but he can be witty with his stuff and not curse. And there's been plenty of times where I've seen him do his IG lives, and he's talking with the fans, and sometimes, you can't see them, or they're just doing something that's very odd, and he just like, he like dismisses them, and then I'll comment in the IG live, say, hey man, that's not right. you need
Yeah.
to be taught a lesson about respect. You know what I mean? Like just, playing with them. You probably thought I was serious probably the first time. Casey will go live with his fans and someone's a little awkward and he'll just have to dismiss them, And
Yeah.
then I would comment and say, hey man, you need to be taught a lesson about respect. And I don't know if because we've never met, I don't know if we took it seriously or not, but I was just, joking, having a good time with him.
I love it, man. Casey, you mentioned earlier, how the state of wrestling is so weird right now with the no fans thing. When WWE and AEW, well, I think WWE did it first. When they did it first, what was your initial thought like watching a show when it's just like crickets and the way the camera was positioned too? It was like a bunch of empty chairs. How did you feel about that, man?
It actually kind of hurt. It was like crazy. Like it just wasn't the same. Like, because I still will watch wrestling as a fan, like from a fan's perspective. And it's just to not hear that excitement, the cheers, the boos, like people just telling wrestling, like all the crazy stuff, like, and it was just silent.
Yeah.
Man, like this is like weird. Like it's even weird, and it's weird when people that don't watch wrestling are hitting me up going, "Yo, man, WWE's doing stuff without fans in the building." That's like, and it's like, yeah, it's not right. It's like very weird because the fans like truly like that's how you know the fans make the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really do because it's not
the fans soften the bumps, with their reactions. It makes it hurt less.
Right. 100%. That was the best way you could put it. Yeah.
And you mentioned your dad earlier and your mom and everything. I know how close you guys are. What was their initial reaction when you first told them? Well, I'm sure they know that you're a fan, but what was their reaction when you're like, you know what, I want to pursue this?
Oh, 100% supportive. Not even like a question. I mean, at first my mom was like, well, can you at least go to college and, like get a backup plan? But I just had like so much hunger and I was so passionate that when I did graduate, I like begged my mom, over, please, let me just take a year off. Let me just focus on wrestling. And that year, obviously, like everyone else, it just keeps going. But my family's proud because I really did work. And like I really was able, it got to the point where like at one point I was making just money off wrestling. I was just living off wrestling. Like wrestling actually just bought me my first car. I got a W. Like I got myself like a luxury car because I was like, man, like, I worked hard for it and I want to show off for my hard work. Not to like rub it in people's face, but like to make myself feel like, man, like, I really did bust my ass since like middle school getting bullied to now getting kicked out, all this stuff. And today I still go through like stuff, like all these bumps, like people talking behind my back and I don't even care about it. It's just, I let it go right over my head because I know what I'm doing and I know what I believe in. I know how passionate I am and how much I love what I do.
Yeah, man, you deserve nice things. Don't apologize for buying yourself a car. You earned that, man.
I'm very selfless. I don't. I'm usually the guy that buys things for people. I never like buy myself anything.
That's cool, man. I like with all the companies right now. Do you have an end goal of where you want to be? Is it WWE or with AEW on the rise? There's Impact, NWA. What are your thoughts, man? Where do you want to go?
That is actually my favorite question that I've been getting asked since I was 16. And I've been given the same exact answer since I was 16. And I'm going to go wherever God takes me.
Ooh, fire.
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I want to go to WWE, because then if I put my mind like, oh, I want to go to WWE, God forbid it never happens. Now I'm just like, I guess I'm just not good enough. I don't want to feel like that. Like I want to feel confident enough that I'm good enough to go anywhere. And wherever God blesses me to go and wants me to bless next is where I'm gonna go. But right now I'm chilling, man. I'm enjoying.
Bro, that was a mic drop right there.
Sorry.
Casey, do you remember the advice I gave you when I was blessed on IG Live with you? Do you remember the advice I gave you?
A lot of advice that day.
Well, the best piece of advice I can give you is just take care of that body, man. Take care of that body. Your body's what makes you money. You'll get all different types of advice from Roman, everyone, people give you all types of advice and soak it in. I still soak it in from the greats, you know what I mean? But no one will really tell you to take care of your body, man, because your body's what makes you money.
Right. 100%. And I've been, man, I've been just now I've been like actually training with Enzo. Actually, has been helping me a lot because he, was only trained in the performance center. The guy was never trained anywhere else. He's never lived the indie life. So like, I've been like really like asking him to show me like TV style and like how to like get over without bumping so damn much and having to kill myself and like put my character. Cause I feel like he did less wrestling and more character and like
Yes.
super over. So I was like, I feel like at this point, like I want to like cut back on like killing myself and like doing like all these moves where I'm landing on my head or landing on my knees and getting slammed in my back or my spine's all like, bobulated. Like I just want to be good and I want to be able to do this until I can't no more. Not like stop when I'm 25 or 30, So.
Casey, before my release with WWE, I had moved out to LA, and Enzo had already knew I had moved out to LA. And after my release, I had reached out to him because he told me that he had a hookup at one of the Apple stores here in LA, and I reached out to him and he got a hold of me and he gave me the contact to the Apple store. So that's something that I'll never forget because usually, after your release, sometimes people don't answer the phone, they don't answer the text, you know what I mean? But he was loyal in that aspect, reaching out to me and giving me the contact. So I got nothing but great things personally with Enzo. And recently I saw him at a signing right before the pandemic. We had tables right next to each other at a signing here in LA, and we were chopping it up, and I brought that story up to him. I said, hey man, I really appreciate you reaching out to me and giving me that hookup at the Apple store, so that's good. Keep training with him, man. He's a plethora of knowledge. He can walk the walk and talk the talk, man. So yeah, don't stop.
Oh, I won't, man. I never stop, man. I always just keep going. That's the only way. That's the only thing I know how to do. Just keep going.
Last
But
question for me. Did you have
what do you got, Arnold?
a dream match that you haven't wrestled with before? Anyone that you have in mind?
I do, and it's Pac in AEW.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Always. That was another guy I used to watch a lot. I always loved his work. I always liked he was a short guy and super jacked. Mm-hmm. So and the way he can move, like I just always wanted to wrestle him. So definitely Pac.
Awesome, man. Nice.
Years ago, Casey, this business was a big guy business, 6'2", 6'3", 6'5", 300 pounds. Now, like guys like you, other people that I've met, no excuses, you know what I mean? There's no excuses. There's so much opportunity for you out there. And if there's one person that's rooting for you, it's me, man. So you got my support. And Pat Buck. But anyway, before we take it home, baby, I want to hit you with 21 totally random questions. I did it with Heath Slater last week. It was fun. I did it with Deanna the second time. It was fun. The first time I did this was with my mom on a IG Live, and it was a disaster. But I know it's going to be, I know it's going to be great with you.
Okay, I hope so.
What's that?
I said I hope so. I hope I don't crap the bed on this one.
No, man. Hey, no, we're having fun, man. So we'll start rocking and rolling now. What's your favorite thing in your closet right now?
Favorite thing in my closet is a drone. I have a drone in my closet.
Sweet.
What really gets on your nerves?
Well, people tell me I can't. That gets on my nerves. Really pisses me off. What
job would you be absolutely horrible at?
Babysitting.
What's your favorite movie ever?
Pain and Gain. With The Rock.
What luxury do you enjoy treating yourself to?
Buy myself Project Rock gear, actually.
Wow.
If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
I would say that they are next to be blessed, and watch out because I'm going to take over the globe and bless the world.
Yes. What's your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is when I tell people I'm busy and they blow up my phone. Call me during interviews. This is a shot at my friends right now.
White chocolate or milk chocolate?
Neither. I hate chocolate.
What?
You can't take me to Hershey Park. I'm the worst to go. I'm also lactose intolerant.
Okay.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever done because someone dared you to?
Ooh. Man, there's so many. I stole all the clothes from this kid in gym class, and he had to run around the school with no clothes.
Oh my goodness. What's your favorite swear word?
I don't. Probably fuck. I say what the fuck a lot. I don't say fuck.
What's on your cell phone playlist right now?
Eminem. I'm a big Eminem guy.
Nowadays,
If you could have any three people over, dead or alive, over for dinner, who would they be?
There's dream people that I'd want over for dinner.
Dead or alive, yes.
The Rock. I would love to hang out with Kevin Hart too because he's funny. And this one comedian, Sebastian Maniscalco. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's hilarious.
Mm-mm.
He's like an Italian guy, and he's hilarious. I would probably do him because he probably make me laugh.
If your house was on fire, what two things would you run back to get?
Probably my dad's original army jacket and my MacBook because I just bought it and it was expensive.
That's fair.
Is your belly button inner or outer?
Any. I have an any.
Would you rather have a permanently clogged nose or a piece of green food always stuck in your teeth?
Oh, clogged nose. Clogged nose. I clogged.
What's something you've tried that you'll never try again?
What was that one thing my girlfriend made me eat? It was gross. I think it was like octopus or something. It was something like.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I'm not a seafood guy.
Calamari?
She tried to like trick me, and I was not into it. I think it was octopus, but I was just not into it. I was like, ugh, I would never again.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What was your first job?
First job was at a trampoline park. I worked at a trampoline.
What's your favorite TV show?
The Office.
Same, bro. Same.
What do you got, Arnold?
Michael Scott,
Oh!
Jim Halpert,
Oh!
White Shroot. Hold on, bro. Just give me a minute. I got this for my birthday, and it's the Office Lego set.
What? That is awesome!
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Going on Amazon after this.
Sorry, continue.
Three more. Is there a personality trait you can't stand?
Personality trait I can't stand. I hate when somebody has like an annoying laugh. Like when somebody has gets me off, like that just gets me so mad.
Best gift you've ever received?
Okay, only because this is a very memorable one. I have a tie. Can I say both?
Sure.
I have a tie. All right. One was I was about 12, 13, and I was begging for the new Intercontinental title. It was white, and it was like, beautiful, and I was like, oh, Mom, I really want it. My family was like telling me, no, 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 and it was like, there was like a box on Christmas, and like it was ginormous, and like I opened it, and the first thing that I saw was like textbooks at the top, and I was like, this is the last gift I'm opening, okay? And I like picked it up. Underneath, like there was a book. It was the WWE Encyclopedia. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I picked that up, and then I opened it, and it was the Intercontinental Championship.
Wow.
And then the other one was, I was about 8 years old. My mom said that she was ordering pizza. I waited all day. I was playing SmackDown versus Raw in my room. I kept asking my mom where the pizza was. Finally, she told me to come out of my room. The pizza was here, and it was my father who just came home from Iraq. He surprised me.
Oh, man.
Had the WWE United States spinner and the newest John Cena gear at the time. I think it was like the blue stuff. And that was, I fell, I cried.
Wow.
I didn't see my dad for like a year and a half. I didn't see him. He was in Iraq, and it was hard for a long time not seeing him. And that was just a moment I'll never forget.
I mean, you are truly blessed. Truly, truly blessed, man.
Oh, yeah, that's why I got an 8W forever.
21, last but not least, toilet paper over or under?
Wait, what?
Toilet paper over or under?
Under. Yeah. I like
You're the first guy that said under, though. Everyone's been saying.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't. It bothers me. I have to flip it. I don't know. I just can't do it. It bothers me.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Well, I mean, honestly, man, thank you for joining us on Pro and Bro Wrestling. I always say time is money, man. So for you to take your time to be on a little podcast like this, I appreciate it.
No, man, I want to thank you guys, man. Like, you guys are giving me a platform to be in front of people that may not know me. And, to me, I feel like I'm just nobody. I'm just a kid from Jersey. So I appreciate you guys, like, bringing me on here and being able to share my story and everything. So I thank you a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, Casey, I have to grab you up now because there's going to be a time where, I'll have to ask, or someone will have to ask WWE or AEW for permission, literally. You have to ask people for permission to have people on podcasts, but it is what it is. When you're under WWE or AEW's conglomerate, man, you got to abide by their rules. So tomorrow I'm going to be on WWE's The Bump. I've never watched the show The Bump, so they still love me. So I'm still in good standing with them. So I'm excited about that tomorrow. But again, thank you for joining us, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
That was a fire interview with Casey, man. I enjoyed that a lot.
Episode 50, man. 2 more, and we've been doing this well over a year, but 52 is like 52 is a big number for us,
Yeah.
and we're almost we're tipping over 1,000 true fans. We didn't buy any fans on IG. Loyal fans, and that's all that matters to me. I'd rather have 1,000 loyal than 20,000 fake accounts. You know what I mean? So definitely having Casey on meant the world to me because he's got a story, man, and he's got some substance, man. He's got a lot of substance to him, and very few people his age can make an impact. And at 20 years old, he's going to be 21, I believe, July 21st.
Wow.
He was born July 21st, 1999.
I know, man. When I was doing my research on him, I saw his birthday, and I was like, oh my God, that's when Y2J made his debut in WWE, man. Like,
exactly, man.
Jesus.
Exactly. So it's wild, man. It's wild. So however I can share anyone's story, I'm going to do it, and we're going to do it on the podcast. So, yeah, dynamite episode, man. And, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you guys are listening to us on iTunes, don't forget to give us a 5-star review if you like what you hear, and let us know we can do better. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. And we're also on Instagram at Pro and Bro Wrestling. And until then,
block the hate, salute the great, baby.